Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the next in our webinar series. I'm Neha Sami. I'm faculty at the Indian Institute for Human Settlements. Um, and we're very delighted to have with us two really wonderful speakers, Vijay Kottalgi and Benjamin John. And I'll just briefly introduce our speakers before we start. So Vijay is Group Head, uh, Transmission Project Civil at Tata Power, a civil engineering graduate from the Government College of Engineering in Maharashtra, and at with over 15 years of experience at Tata Power. They bring deep expertise in operations and maintenance, as well as shutdown execution for large scale thermal projects. They've also led several landmark power transmission and infrastructure projects, and their leadership contributed to achieving an IGBC Platinum rating for a GIS building. Our second panelist today is Benjamin John, Head of Implementation at C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group. Benjamin serves as the head of implementation for the South and West Asia region at C40 Cities and works closely with cities such as Chennai and Bangalore, supporting the development of comprehensive climate action plans and leading their implementation across key sectors, including energy, transport, climate adaptation, and land use planning. Thank you both very much for joining us. It's really wonderful to have you. Um, I think I'll start by perhaps asking you to um, reflect a little bit on sort of, the diversity in both of your organizations that work in very different spaces, and to ask you perhaps to reflect on how your work engages with the urban and what does impact at scale look like in your respective sectors. So perhaps maybe Vijay, we can start with you and then we ask Benjamin.
I would like to keep my video off because there is some bandwidth issue,
Sure, no
so it is
problem. No
better
problem
to
at
have
all.
a good
Yes, of
communication.
course.
Okay.
Not
So it is a very relevant field because the urban transformation today does not happen in one single space. And it is possible when infrastructure delivery, policy achievements, and climate actions come together. So at power sector, we engage the urban ecosystem and it happens at a multiple level. So to start with the transformation in infrastructure, at present we are in a generation, we do the generation in thermal, hydros and renewable energy. Today we have an installed capacity near about 15 gigawatt, out of which 50% is coming from the renewable energy. We are in transmission business and distribution also. Today, if we see 13 million consumers, we are giving a reliable power. We support the urban services like metros, hospitals, data centers, EV charging, street lighting, industries, and many more. So, any small outage, if it impacts very huge critical services like water supply, system, hospitals. Okay. Then going to next one, if we see the second layer, we can say the climate, which is becoming a central for the urban transformation right now. We are reshaping the energy need of the urban cities. Large scale renewable generations are feeding to the urban demand. We are in a solar rooftop system near about today. We have a 3.4 gigawatt installed capacity on various societies, commercial and public buildings. We are having EV charging station across the various cities in India. Near about 5,000 EV charging stations are installed. Now we are exploring in battery energy storage system, which is helping managing renewables and peak demand. So collectively, they are helping in reduction cities' carbon footprint. So another layer is the policy engagement, being a power sector which is a regulated business, and we work with state and national policy framework. And these policies supports us to grow in all dimensions and do the integration in renewables. And last, we are in field of people and skill development also. more about 30 lakh livelihoods we have impacted through our various departments like Tata Power Skill Development Institute, which is recognized by the state government, and various CSR initiatives under the power sector, that is Tata Power Community Development Trust. So we are ensuring that urban transformation with skilled manpower, not only just for the infrastructure. We can say the power sector is touching every part of urban life. And if we say cities are the growth engines, so energy and power is a fuel to keep them running. This is how we engage largely in every sector of urban ecosystem.
Thank you, Vijay. That was very insightful. Benjamin, would you like to reflect from your experience at C40?
Sure, sure. Thanks, Neha, so much for this opportunity. And I've, to talk about what we do at C40 and the kind of work that we're currently doing. And also, I think I've really been following the work of IIHS from the very beginning, and it's very good to see how the organization is growing into kind of really training the future. I would say urban management practitioners of the future. It's great to see the work that you guys are doing. So just to quickly talk about what we do at C40 City. So we're a network of city leaders, and when I say city leaders, we mean mayors in, say, I would say the global north, Europe, America, as well as South America and Africa. But I think in the Indian context, it's very different because we have bureaucracy that leads much of the decision making in cities, and then you have, some cities have mayors, some cities don't. So we see like Chennai has a mayor, but Bangalore doesn't. Bangalore's in the process of getting a mayor. In the Indian context, we say we work with city leadership at different scales. So we work with cities to address climate change related issues, and it can be from addressing climate risks that cities face to helping cities reduce emissions. The starting point, I think, for us was to help all these cities that we work with to build their climate action plans, which kind of included emission reduction trajectories as well as clear goals and targets for them to achieve resilient cities. So I think that was kind of the starting point for us with all our cities that we work with, and we have 5 cities in India that are kind of part of this network. We have Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Delhi, and Ahmedabad. These are the 5 cities that we work with in India. And I think what differentiates us is that we really don't take any kind of membership fee from our cities. So cities keep membership in this network by meeting certain targets year on year, outcome based targets, right? So they either reduce emissions or they work on projects that build their adaptive capacity to climate change, or climate risks, and they show leadership. So we work under, I would say, 3 main buckets. One is the climate implementation piece, where we look at really technical assistance to support cities in implementing climate action, which may be beyond their current imagination of, the current brick and mortar kind of approach to projects that most of our cities take. So that is one. Two, we work on mainstreaming climate action into city master plans, city budgets, building bylaws, all of these statutory documents that exist in the city. So we work towards, mainstreaming climate action into these, statutory documents, legal documents of the city. And the third piece is we look at leadership. So we want our cities to be at the forefront of talking about what they are doing to address climate change. So we really work with cities to be part of some of the big discussions that are there globally as well as in India. Like, for instance, I would say at COPs or in India now with the Mumbai Climate Week, etc. So we want our cities to be in some of these conversations and really highlight what they're doing with respect to moving the needle on climate action. So these are the three buckets that we work in with these cities. One is the implementation piece, two is mainstreaming, and three is climate leadership. So I think with that, I'll stop here and I'll maybe try and unpack some of these as we, discuss this going forward. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Actually, just to follow up on that, Benjamin, it would be really interesting to hear, for example, what are the typical kind of roles or entry points through which young professionals can engage, not just with C40 cities, but say, with with sort of working in the climate sector more broadly.
You want me to go or Vijay?
No, why don't you go and then we can
Okay,
go to Vijay after.
fine, fine. So maybe I'll break this down to a few pieces. One, I think, is at the kind of macro level. I think it's policy making that's the most kind of uh, critical part to climate action planning and implementation. So I would say uh, your writing skills, your analytical skills, these are some of the skill sets that people have to kind of really you know gather. So I would say one, any role to do with policy analysis and policy formulation. I would say that's one bucket. Two, the second piece I would say is mapping. So I think spatial mapping is a very important skill set that any urban practitioner should have today. So I would say that's the second entry point. If you have interest in mapping, building your skills around that, and you can go as deep as say programming in mapping, like learning Python and being able to really get down to that skill level of mapping. And then I would say the third piece I would say is the engagement piece, being able to engage with communities, being able to engage with elected representatives, being able to bring all these folks on one table and being able to actually really move your uh, move towards the goal that you are working towards, or the outcome that you're working towards. So I think the third skill set, I think that's very important, or an entry point that's important, is the engagement part. So I would say these are if you have interest in these three, I think there are multiple roles that you can find in this, in say spatial mapping and spatial analysis, two on policy writing and policy formulation, and it includes research as well. And three is the engagement piece. And I think as we grow for ahead, I think uh, the role of an urban practitioner who's working in the climate space increasingly is going to be of a negotiator. So I feel the engagement skill set is something that I would say is a non-negotiable, and something that I think has to be clubbed with the spatial mapping skill, or needs to be clubbed with the policy formulation, policy research skill. So mm, uh, I would maybe then say it's two buckets: the spatial analysis part and the policy formulation part. So I think these are the two entry level jobs that you would find in any organization, be it a C40, WRI, and ITDP, etc. And this transcends all the sectors. So it's relevant to an energy, transition sector. It's relevant to a transport decarbonization sector. Is relevant to solid waste management practices. It's relevant to adaptation planning, and your nature-based solutions, sponge, that kind of adaptive kind of capacity related planning work. And it's also relevant to urban planning. So I think I would say in all these sectors, I think these are the two entry points that I see. Yeah.
Thanks, Benjamin. And Vijay, in say in not just at Tata Power, but in the power sector more broadly, what are the ways in which and what roles, entry points would you
Yeah.
think young professionals can engage with?
Okay. So the power sector is very vast, and it is not only one type of person or one type of engineering field that is technical. It is a combination of all the engineering fields, start from civil, mechanical, instrumentation, It is a combination where we need some non-technical field also. So I have some categorize all these entry points through which one can, if they want, they can think of aspiring their career. Basically, it is a core engineering and project roles where electrical, civil, mechanical team they may go to the project execution and site engineering field. We have a operation and maintenance team. We do the maintenance of power plant. We do the maintenance of switchyards, GIS. So again, these three fields, that is civil, electrical, mechanical, and even instrumentation, they have a good opportunity in operation and maintenance. It is in all the three parameters, that is in generation sector, in transmission, and in distribution. If anyone is keen in design role, and if he has a good ability to think, so that is in planning and design. So we have a team where we do the designing of our upcoming projects. We have an in-house team, so anyone can aspire in that particular department. Again, it is for generation, transmission, and distribution sectors. It is in available in renewable also, and we do the grid upgradation, so it is there. In another part, that is a renewable and new energy roles, we have a solar and wind projects where multiple talent they can aspire. We have a rooftop solar projects. We are in EV charging infrastructure installations. So moving to next, there are few sectors which are customer centric and distribution phase. So we have distribution operations. We do work in smart metering, then energy efficiency and demand side management. And there are opportunities in home automation system where a lot of new electrical appliances are coming in line, and there is a good opportunity in home automation. And anyone have a expertise in AI, they can do their career in home automation. So there are some non-engineering fields also like sustainability. We have a very good department where we do the sustainable initiatives through our CSR programs and through our own internal trust. We have a department for the policy and regulatory supports. We are in supply chain and vendor management, and there are some opportunity in data analytics. Also, the candidate or one who has a good negotiation skill, and he has updates on markets, current affairs. So they go in the contracts and procurement team. We have a power trading also. So in nutshell, power sector is very vast, and it is not only limited to the particular things. The only curiosity, learning mindset, and willing to do the work on ground, it is very important, because whoever is going to come, they first go to the site. They have to get hands-on training, because they have to understand the system how it works. So once they get the knowledge of the systems, they can improve their all the knowledge. And this is a basic where one can think of getting opportunity in this power sector.
Thank you, Vijay. And if you were to think of maybe one or two, specific skills or characteristics that young professionals should work towards, is there something in particular? I know you mentioned engineering based degrees, but something that cuts across, say, people who are interested in engaging with energy power. What kind of skills or characteristics do you think they need to bring?
Okay. So basically, if we see the urban ecosystem works in interconnect. Okay, every phase of urban development has a individual task to perform, and they are interconnected with each other. So when completion or implementation of any task, then urban work demands not only technical skill, but one should have a proper coordination, communication, adaptability, and as I told you that system thinking and problem solving is very important, because cities are live, and day to day we need to work along with the municipal commissioners, municipal departments, various. We have to work with business associate, that is we call a contractor. Then we have to work with existing utilities, traffic, citizens. So they should have ability to work with all of these. Also, on the ground, when we start any work, we do the engagement with non-technical staffs also. And another one thing that we should aim the sustainability and long-term thinking for every step we take. Adaptability and continuous learning is also very important, because the sector is changing regularly. So we have to abreast of time, and we need to keep update ourselves with all the new technologies. Example, as I say, suppose I have to lay the underground distribution line. So it starts with permission. So I go to the department, get the permissions. Then I involve traffic department. There are chances that I have to divert the traffic. I have to trace the underground utilities. Then it also comes with working at night in narrow lanes, and ensuring the public's safety. So more or the less, when anyone wants to help, they should have a good communication skill and problem solving skill, and collaboration. So these are the important skills. So they any candidate or anyone who aspire, they must have.
Thank you. Benjamin, would you like to reflect on that as well?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think I did touch upon it in my previous, explanation,
Yes,
but
of course.
maybe, maybe what I would say in terms of the sectors. I mean, and double clicking on the sectors that I was talking about in terms of, say, energy transition, or transportation, or any of these sectors that are part of the urban. I think you definitely will have to have kind of a uh, kind of, I would say, an interdisciplinary kind of a, you know uh, thinking, or an approach to solving these problems, because I think it cannot be solved through one lens. For instance, someone with a bachelor's in planning may have one lens of problem solving. An architect might come with a different lens, an engineer might come with, I think, being able to understand these different lenses, and being able to understand it from a kind of an interdisciplinary kind of an approach, I think is becoming extremely important. And I think in a time of AI, I think I don't speculate that people are going to lose jobs in this sector at all, because I think there are going to be more jobs created in this sector, because the kind of problems that our cities are facing every day is very unique. And I don't think exists solutions or playbooks in the world of AI. I think AI can just help you do your work more efficiently and more faster. I think the relevance of problem solving in cities and regions are going to continue to exist, because as we quickly urbanize, I think the next 20 years, all reports that we read say that we're going to hit 50% population living in urban, etc., etc. So I think with that happening, more people coming into tier one, and even more going to tier two from, say, tier one, because tier one is not becoming unlivable. So I think in your smaller, mid-sized cities, there's going to be a lot of urbanization in the next 20 years as well. So I think there is, the need to look at it in an interdisciplinary manner is, I think, the most important thing currently, and what all schools should teach. And I think that's something that I think IHS holds very dearly to in all your programs, which is great. And just to talk a little bit about myself, so I was doing when I was doing my masters at the Center of Environment Planning and Technology in Ahmedabad, roughly about 15 years ago. So back then, we did have this interdisciplinary approach even back then at the school. So we had folks who were very, had a very strong view on solving issues through spatial planning, while others saying that there is a dimension to cities that is socio-economic in nature, and that we need to look at it from that point of view as well. And I don't think everything can be solved on a map, but we have to also go to the ground, talk to communities, understand what their aspirations are, what their issues are, and try and integrate that back into the map, right? So I think that kind of thinking, right, that you need a sociological approach to thinking about cities, and economics approach, a spatial planning approach, legal understanding laws, policies is also, the legality of it is also important. So I think these thematics go and kind of plug into how you then look at problem solving. So I think it's not just one view that you use, which is just saying, especially I'm going to solve problems, that will not work. You'll have to look at understanding laws, policies, and how they work, how they function, what are the current issues in implementation of those laws and policies, and that might link with certain socio-economic issues that are there on. So I think being able to build that kind of web of interlinkages through this kind of interdisciplinary way of solving issues, I think is going to be increasingly important. And I think we can't just have, say, one school of thought. You need many schools of thought, right? So back then we had Dashini Mahadevia, who had one viewpoint, and on the other extreme end we had someone like, say, Utpal Sharma or Shivanand Swami, who had a very different viewpoint on solving issues. So I think that being able to kind of pick up from all of them, and say, okay, now this is how I feel I should address the approach, I think has to be increasingly the way forward on this. And I think the question I see a question as well here. I mean, if I can just take the liberty to address it as well. Um, so I think the question is that in a master's versus a bachelor's, is there a difference in the entry points, or job roles? And I think there definitely is, because I think with a bachelor's, you do gain knowledge, but I think you don't gain that, I would say, the experience of having uh, been in the field long enough to understand what the issues are. So even after you do a bachelor's, working for some time and then going back and doing a master's will definitely improve the way you actually approach issues and challenges. So I think there definitely is differences in the salaries of, say, someone with a bachelor's and someone with a master's. And I think there is value in doing a master's in the field of, say, urban studies and sustainability, because I think it just gives you a lot more perspective when you come to a master's, because you're slightly more matured after a bachelor's. So because I think bachelor's may not be able to grasp the depth of situations. You may be just touch points on each of things, but when you come to a master's, you start double clicking on some of these issues and going much more deeper into why things are not working. So I think definitely, I think doing a master's, I don't think that's part of the question, but doing a master's is definitely important, and it does bring in more salaries, etc. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Benjamin. Vijay, would you like to reflect also on this question of interdisciplinarity, and particularly thinking about it in, in the power sector, and how kind of working across disciplines and interdisciplinary training has made a difference in your experience? Vijay, I think you're on mute.
Okay. Uh, in power sector, as we speak, no project is purely of any particular field. Okay. Every day we work with cross disciplines, and as the this system is interconnected with each other. I will explain it very easily with some example. If company wants to install one EV charging station in a city, so it is not only just that electrical person come and plug the power and it has started. It starts with business development group where the team comes and do the survey of particular area. They analyze the footfall of that particular area. The finance team checks the commercial viability. Then after that, once it is found suitable, so civil engineer comes in place. They go on the site, they do the survey, they do the planning for the foundation design, put it on site. Then electrical engineer will come with all the equipment. He install it on the site and ensure the proper load and safety. So again, the IT engineer, he integrates the smart payment system and entire monitoring the system. The policy and regulatory team, what they do, they ensure all the approvals from government authorities under they are working, and the execution team and operation and O&M teams do the compliances. They do the that ensure it. Branding team, what they do, they go on the site, they do the advertisement and brand display. So overall, if we say it is all the cross-functional departments are interconnected, and they work together for a common goal, and they make ensure that whatever we have done, it keep running for the desired purpose. So we can say this collaboration, this cross-discipline collaboration delivers the project faster and reduce the disruption and ensure the long-term reliability. This is what my take out from this.
And also, I wondered if you had anything to add to the question that, Benjamin already responded partly to, but if you had anything else you wanted to add to the question that one of our participants has asked. And also, just to
Yeah,
all participants, if you would like to add more questions in the Q&A box, please go ahead and do that.
I'm with same the what Mr. Matthew has said. I'm same in line with them only. Yes, there are some differences in their takeouts, but the most matter is the experience. Okay, they have some technical knowledge, some at upper level than bachelors. Obviously, they at the entry point there are the differences in salary phase, and it depends on the role which you are applying. Okay, whether you are in non-core field or you are applying in you are going in technical field, or you are going on project side, because project sites always they have a more remuneration than a person who is sitting in cities or in offices. So yes, there is a differences in what they have qualification.
Thank you. Thank you, Vijay.
And
Sorry, yes, yes, of course,
yeah,
Benjamin.
maybe if you don't mind, let me just add also to what Vijay was saying. I think, I mean, the the qualification, or what qualification to take, should it be masters or bachelors, and what the entry point is, may not be the right way of looking at it. I think, as you know um, for me, I think what's worked as an urban practitioner, who initially worked in hardcore master planning and city plans and all of this, and then transitioned to climate. I think what worked for me was being able to kind of uh, figure out working on good projects, right? So I was always trying to chase the the opportunity to work on projects than say on a role, or than trying
Yes,
to kind
yes,
of,
right.
yeah, than trying to kind of figure out I want this role, meaning I want to be the manager, I want to be the CEO, or whatever it is. uh, I think those things will fall into place, but I think you should always, the drive should be to be able to work on good projects, projects that excite you and that you think that the outcomes of those projects can be impactful to the society that you live in. And I think looking at it from that lens, the other things will fall into place. I think your bachelor's or master's, which role, entry point, or all those things, I think will kind of fall into place if you have consistently been trying to work on good projects or be associated with projects that have large outcomes that can shape the entire landscape of way people think in that field, right? So I think that's, I think, the important has been the important takeaway for me so far. And along with that, I would also, what I would say is, when you start off in the field, always try to work in organizations that are working from the ground up, right? And I think that's where you'll have the most learnings, like being able to go to the ground, take measurements, do a total station survey, or go and talk to stakeholders. But if you join a like a large organization, you may not get all those opportunities. You may get put into one particular kind of stream, and you may just be doing that work from day one. But I think if you work in smaller organizations that is doing meaningful work, you get to do a lot of different things, and that'll also kind of shape your interest and your approach that you want to take going forward. So I think those two things, if you chase projects and at the beginning work from the bottom up, I think that is a good way to kind of approach how you want to actually enter this field and move forward. Yeah.
Sorry. Thanks. That's very, very helpful and useful. I was wondering if you had, if either of you had advice to give to our participants on sort of mobility across sectors, professional as they go through their professional trajectory, and especially coming from an interdisciplinary background, how you think about people moving sectors and the ways in which that would work. Vijay, perhaps you'd like to start.
Maybe is Vijay talking
Oh,
or
Vijay, are you on? I think you're on mute again. Oh.
Pardon, can you just
No, what I was asking was if you wanted to reflect a little bit on, especially coming from an interdisciplinary program, if, for young professionals want to move across sector, what kinds of mobility options do you think exist for them to either
yes.
switch sectors or move? What kind of advice would you give someone who's looking to do something like?
Yes, yes, yes. So, I will give the example from my side only because I moved from one point to another point in one organization. When I joined this company, I was a graduate in training, and after completion of training, I got responsibility of handling all the maintenance activities of thermal power plant. I was handling that civil engineering and project and maintenance related works for the 500 megawatt, 250 megawatt, and 180 megawatt. So initially I was there. After having working in maintenance, I got an opportunity to move from generation to transmission sector. So I moved to transmission field. That is totally different sector from the generation. So I did various projects in generation, then parallelly I did projects in transmission. After that, I moved to the distribution and cabling works. So along with this, now I am handling one different project, which is a landscape, a landmark project for the Mumbai city, that is coastal road development. One of the part I am handling for that particular project. So here you can see I started as a maintenance engineer. Now I did multiple roles and now handling multiple projects at times. So once you come in this power sector or any, you have to analyze the system. Okay, how system works, and you have to deliver accordingly the what company needs. Okay, you again what there are very more chances once you are a problem solver. Okay, is there any issues for your customer, maybe internal customer or external customer? Once you solve the problem, then management see, okay, he has a good ability to solve the problems and work on it, and he has a good hands-on collaboration. So he get a exposure from one field to another field. So obviously, there are chances of moving across the organization, and it is possible for everyone. It is based on how they deliver as per the organization need.
Thank you, Vijay. Benjamin, would you like to reflect on that question as well?
Yeah, maybe just pulling that the interdisciplinarity thread back in the conversation, right? So maybe something that even folks who are trying to join IHS for the master's programs, I think, uh, try to kind of pick up as many different courses that are interrelated to your discipline as possible, right? So when you are looking at electives, etc., try and pick up as many electives that are not directly, I would say, related to your field, but you feel there can be interrelations that can be made, right? And that's, I think, where the most learning will be, being able to sit in as many diverse kind of courses as possible, right? So, uh, again, when I'll still go back to my masters. When I was doing my masters, so we had this one course on development innovations, which was an elective course. And I think for me, that was a course where there was the most learning that I had, because the format of how that class was structured was that you would have to pick up a set of papers that are kind of important papers in your field of research, in your interest field, and you come to the class and you discuss that with a bunch of other students, right? And each student then kind of discusses that with you, and then another student discusses their paper with you, what they found kind of interesting in the way the paper is written, structured, etc. So I think if you can find these kind of courses, topics that are delivered in different ways, and topics they may not be directly related to your field of study, is where you may be able to actually get some additional learnings that may then go and help in your own core subject, right? Because I think today most of the topics and subjects are very interrelated, and it's important to have that kind of a wide palette of options to pick from when you're studying, and pick as many wild topics as possible. So if you're studying transport planning, then there could be something on transport behavior that you want to study, and not just modeling, and not just transport modeling, and not just integration of land use with transport, which are some of these kind of time tested topics that are the core of transport planning. But as we are unpacking the issues that we are facing in our cities with respect to mobility, we are understanding that it's a problem of transport behavior as well. It's a problem of uh, infrastructure management as well. So there are many kind of plugins to how these topics kind of, or these thematic areas function. And I think we there are these traditional kind of routes that we've taken, like doing transport modeling, etc. But I think now it's increasingly important to look at these other threads that are coming and becoming even more important to the kind of macro way of looking at things, which is transport behavior as well, or infrastructure management as well, climate change and its effect on transport systems, on metro systems, etc., etc. So I think they are all interlinked, and you have to look at these, and that if it gets kind of integrated at the time you're doing your course itself, you take that kind of viewpoint of so problem solving as you move forward as well in your practice. So I think Neha and team has a very big responsibility to instill this kind of interdisciplinary kind of thinking to the students. Yeah.
Thank you. So again, I'd like to encourage the participants if they have any specific questions to our panelists to put them into the chat. But I just before we close, just one final question to you both. If there's any sort of single piece of advice, just if you had to give one piece of advice to people aspiring to join your sector, join an urban studies degree, or into an interdisciplinary program, what would that be?
Vijay, would you like to go first?
You can you can continue.
Okay. I mean, I think we've been giving advice all along for the last 50 minutes, but maybe to kind of conclude, I would say I think the role of practitioner, urban practitioner, say in the climate space, is increasingly that of a negotiator. So I would maybe leave you with that term of a negotiator who has those multiple skills to be able to talk to an elected representative like an MLA of your local level, the community of that area, to the IS officer, the bureaucrat who takes signs the file, as well as to the chief engineer in that local area, as well as being able to liaison with your team to kind of deliver the best impact or outcomes for that, say for that area that you're working on. So I think to be able to negotiate these different I would say contours of thoughts and experiences of these people, to be able to kind of achieve the best outcome for your area, is something that is increasingly important for an urban practitioner in the climate space. So just to give you an example, so we're currently working on converting a derelict land in North Bangalore. It's in the area called Hennur. So this is an old stone quarry site that we are converting into an urban forest, right? And we're doing this because this area is increasingly experiencing urban heat, right? And in our mapping of this area, land surface temperature, all of that, we're realizing that North Bangalore is heating up more and more with urbanization. There is no new green spaces in these areas. There's low per capita open spaces, etc. So that's what our analysis told us, and we pointed all roads pointed to this particular land and said, let's convert this into an urban forest. Now when we started talking to the various people on ground, the local MLA wanted an entire forest, right? He wanted to convert the whole thing into a forest, and he was aligned with that idea, while the community locally said that no, we wanted it to be a play area. We don't we wanted to be a playground and not complete forest. We want to play there. We don't have any area to play cricket, or etc., etc. And the local corporation commissioner said, okay, I mean, I can't take a decision on it. It needs to be decided, by the community and the MLA. So you're always caught in this kind of, web of not being able uh, to bring everyone on the right decision. So as a technical person, then what I would go back to the drawing table and say is then, okay, by doing this option of just having a forest, this is how much your temperatures are going to come down, right? And then look at other options of where are the nearest other playgrounds that we can create for the community, right? And the second option of okay, making a playground and having that forest as well in certain patches, then what is my temperature reduction going to be in that area with this option? So I think giving these options and then helping the community to take the best decision, I think is your role, and that is the role, I think, I would say, of a negotiator, who plays that role, to achieve those outcomes. And that's something I think that colleges are not able to teach, and that's depending on how you are able to actually build, your kind of public speaking skills, your skills of presenting what you're trying. So I think all of these things play a big part in how well are you able to communicate, how well are you able to kind of make a crisp two-slide presentation, or make a half a page note that the MLA is able to quickly read and understand, say in Kannada and in English. So I think these are, when I start unpacking it further, that negotiator has to be a good communicator, has to be a good someone who can write well, someone who can present well, etc. So I think that's where I would kind of leave it at. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. Vijay, is there any last piece of advice you'd like to give?
Most of the points are covered by Mr. Matthew G already, but in power sector, one has to work mostly on the ground, not because the renewable power plants, they are away from the remotely placed. So shortage of facilities on the site always be there. So one should have a adaptability quality. So he has to adapt the existing ecosystem where the project is going on. And also when the team works in a densely populated urban area, and there he must have the quality of collaboration and collaborative approach, because our work come across various sectors, starts from the public and municipalities in every sector, and we have to be good with them to get our work done. So, and always we should think of solving problem, what management is facing the problem, and how I can give my ideas, best ideas, so that management can have a benefit from that on the short term and otherwise long term also. And one should always keep curiosity and eager to learn. Their first role is not their last role, so always they keep improving themselves, and eager to learn is also very important. These are points from my side.
Thank you. So we're almost out of time. But thank you both very much for joining us. It was a really insightful discussion for me, and I'm sure for our participants as well. And I'll hand over now to Subhay at the IIHS admissions office for any last sort of things he'd like to say. Subhay, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Neha. Thank you, Benjamin. And thank you, Vijay, for your wonderful insights. I think a lot of our attendees have, gained a little more insight from your experience and the way they can like also navigate through this urban space. For folks who are applying to a master's program and who have questions, I have sent the link in our chat box. So you can look at the question papers, FAQs, but also from next week onwards, we have how do cities really work, the webinar series where we start unpacking the layers of city through different lenses. And I think that would be very interesting. And we also have city walks happening across 3 cities in Calcutta, Jaipur, and Delhi, starting next weekend onwards. So please do have a look. The links are in the chat box. And I will play a quick video just in case you want to understand our first walk.
Hi, I'm Priya. I'm a researcher here at IIHS. The streets of Kolkata tell us so much more than just its history. When you walk through Bada Bazaar or College Street or Park Street, you're not looking at heritage as some static backdrop. You're actually seeing how the city works, how commerce shapes space, how people negotiate for livelihood, how history and everyday life are inseparable. On the city walk, we're going to move through these places, and ask questions about who gets to belong in these spaces. How do informal economies thrive alongside state regulation? Why do patterns of housing, transport, and migration matter? How are contemporary challenges like displacement and gentrification connected to the choices made decades ago? This isn't just about observing the city, it's about learning to read it, to understand the systems that sustain it, and to think critically about what urban life means. If you're considering our master's programs, this work is for you. So come understand Kolkata, come understand cities. Registrations for the Kolkata City Walk are now live.
So we hope to see many of them out there. And thank you for participating. Good evening, everybody.